Good morning everyone and very warm welcome to one and all. Welcome back to A Square classes. As we have seen, we are going with the ecology sessions, and I have told you what we have seen in the previous class. We are up to actually, not we have seen, we are up to actually the environmental factors, the ecological factors, and the factors which we have seen were basically two types of factors, that is abiotic factors and biotic factors. What were the abiotic factors and what were the biotic factors? I have told you in the very previous lecture, and from there we understood, we listed up to few abiotic factors, and we have concluded that there are basically four abiotic factors, 4 to 5 abiotic factors, which we have mentioned it. And what were those? Those were temperature, those were light, water, soil and air. Till yet we have seen, and not only air but also few amount of abiotic factors affect the life organism or the living organism, and those also includes humidity and precipitation. Clear? So as when we were moving to the abiotic factors, I have told you what is temperature, what are the causes of temperature, what is the actual variation in temperature seen in living organism living in a particular temperature. I have taught you poikilotherms, homeotherms, then I have taught you stenotherms, stenothermals and eurythermals. Remember, till yet we have completed, and then we have seen the actual what were the variations, morphological variations, physiological variations of the organism in the temperature according to temperature. Now we are moving on to the second most important abiotic factor of our ecological factor, that includes water. What we are moving on towards is water. Water is, you can define it as water. Water is the most relevant factor. Water is the most relevant factor, the most relevant factor which affect the life of, which affect the life of living organism. Life of living. Fact, as I said, very first point you can write it as water is the most important factor which affects the life of living organism. In fact, the first life to be originated, the first life was originated in water. The first life which was originated is water. There are few places where there is scarcity of water, or there is water present in the limited areas, and there are few places there are maximum amount or the relevant amount of water present there. So you can write this point as where there is scarcity of water is referred as desert, What it is referred? Few areas where there is scarcity of water is referred to as desert. And it's difficult for living organism to survive over there. It's difficult for living organism to survive over there. But what makes them easy to survive survive under such conditions? What makes them easy? What makes their lifespan get adapted towards those conditions is what it's adaptation. But adaptation makes the organism to survive in those areas. What makes them easy to survive in their area? What is that? That is adaptation makes it easy to survive under those areas. Now, I'll give you few other important point. That is productivity, that is production of the plant, productivity and of plant, activity and distribution of plants also depend on water. So now the question comes, what do you think? The organism living in water does not have any problem related to water, or they have completely requirement of water? It's not like that. The organism living in water mostly is affected by the organism living in water is mostly affected by the pH and the composition of the water. Is affected by the pH and important thing if we talk about animal and which affects mostly the water is what I'll tell you. The salinity is the term. The salinity is a concept which affects the living organism or the growth of the organism in a water. So you can, as I said, the pH and composition, and another most thing which affects the growth of the organism is the salinity, the amount of salt present in a water at ppt, that is parts per thousand. What did I said? The salinity or the amount of salt present in the water affects the salinity or the amount of salt present in the water affects the living organism, life of living organism. What did I said? I said you might have thought that the organisms which are living in water or the fresh water or the lake, the river, the ponds have no problem of water, or they do not have any contempt of the water. But it's not like that. Organisms who are living in water also have few effects or few problem or few scarcity of water, because of what their habitat which they reside requires few specific type of water, which mostly depends on the pH and composition of the water, And then I have said the another concept which defiates or which affects the life of the living organism is basically salinity, or the amount of salt which is present in the water affects the growth or the living or the life of the living organism. And the salinity is basically measured in PPT, that is parts per thousand. parts per. You can also write it as amount of salt present in a water, amount of salt present in the water, present in the water of per parts per thousand, of per parts per thousand. What did I say? Salinity is also measured in parts per thousand, and the amount of salt which is present in the water is referred to as the what amount of salt which is present parts per thousand is referred to as salinity of the water. Before I go to urethylene, stenothalline, what are those organisms, why we are reading this, I would like to tell you our earth has 71% of the water. 71% of area is occupied by water. Then the question comes, why there is scarcity of water? Why there is deficiency of water? But only, the next point will make you clear, but only 1% of water is available for plants and animals. That comes, why only 1% of animals, why only 1% of water is present for plants and animals? This is because animals, this 1% of water is fresh water. There are organisms or there are animals who survive mostly in fresh water. Plants require fresh water. We require fresh water, groundwater. We cannot take saline water. There are lots of water which are present in seas, oceans, but we cannot use those water. Why? Because for a daily life purposes, we do require fresh water. We do require the water which are required by the plants and animals. That is only 1%. That's why there's a scarcity of water which we are seeing. And rest, where are this rest amount of water which are present? They are present in lakes, seas, oceans, etc. Got it? This is the reason. And there comes a point. There are few organisms which survive in oceans, or you can write it as or in salty water, There are few organisms which survive in oceans or in salty water. What it is said, few organisms which can survive in oceans or salty water, and those organisms cannot survive in fresh water. What did I said? I said there are few organisms who mostly survive in oceans or salty water, but those organisms cannot survive in fresh water and vice versa. I said there comes an organism who survives only in salty water, and there also comes an organism who survive only in fresh water, and those organisms which are surviving in fresh water cannot survive in salty water, and those organisms which are adapted to salty water cannot survive in fresh water. But there are organisms who are accepted to a wide range of salinity or wide range of salinity. That organisms are called as what we will see now, and why wide range it is classified. I will tell you how they are classified. Basically, based on salinity, organisms are classified in two forms, that is stenothalline and urethylline. Why these organisms we have observed? We have observed few range of organisms can live in oceans, rivers are found like frogs. I'll tell you example of frogs. Frogs are what? Amphibians, belongs to amphibians. There are few frogs which are found on the land, terrestrial And now what does the habitat become of amphibians? Amphibians are those organisms which even live in water, and those also organisms which live on the land. I said that, right? So now these frogs can even find in seas, even oceans, deep oceans. But there are those frogs which we have seen in pond, river, lakes. So now you got the example. There are few organisms which survive in both. That is what is called as ctenohaline, euryhaline, and we are going to see now. First, before I go to the furthermost point, I like to make you clear about water, that what we have read in water, I have said the very first point, that is water is most relevant factor which affect the living organism. Clear with this point? No doubt? Yes. Then I have said you the first life which was originated in water. Never forget this point. ये evolution में भी पढ़ेंगे हम, ठीक है? जब हम रिप्रोडक्टिव हेल्थ के बाद आगे ह्यूमन हेल्थ एंड डिजीज पढ़ते हैं, उसके बाद जब नया चैप्टर स्टार्ट करते हैं जस्ट जेनेटिक्स से पहले इवोल्यूशन, तब उस पे हम ये पढ़ेंगे कि द फर्स्ट लाइफ ओरिजिनेटेड एंड फिर वो मॉलिक्यूलर बेसिस पे कैसे इनहेरिटेंट हुआ था, वो सारी चीजें उसमें जेनेटिक्स में देख लेंगे, ठीक है? छोड़ो. नाउ फॉर नाउ सेक यू रिमेंबर द फर्स्ट लाइफ वाज ओरिजिनेटेड वाज इन water, and few areas where there is scarcity of water, that is referred to as desert, and it is difficult for living organism to survive in those areas, but rather they show type of adaptation. और अगर मैं उस adaptation की बात करूं तो सबसे बड़ा example मैंने आपको फर्स्ट क्लास से बोला है cactus. Cactus are those fine, आप xerophytes की example ले लो, those are what? Cactus. Clear? And basically those are those type of plant which shows less loss of water loss from their body or from their surface area and prevents and store water. That's why they have spines instead of having leaves. Why they have spines? Because the spines prevents them excessive loss of water from their body, as they are the surface area of the spine is less, so they have low cuticle opening and then less loss of water. Got it? Now comes productivity and distribution of the plants also depends on the water. The very good example again, cactus. Yes, you can find rice field also. Rice field or the paddy fields are seen basically on those area where there is production of water, or there is amount of water more. Why? To the growth of water, to the growth of rice, we require hefty amount of water. So mostly rice is seen in the growth, or mesophyte plants are seen in these areas where there is a specific amount of water. Got this point? Then comes the organism in water is mostly affected by pH composition of water. What affects the organism, the growth of organism in the water? It includes pH, it includes composition and water. The salinity of the amount of the salt. There comes another concept which affects the growth of the living organism, which includes salinity, or the amount of salt present in the water affects growth of the living organism. Clear this concept? Yes. Now comes where does the salinity is measured of? Salinity is basically measured of in parts per million, parts per thousand, and its amount of salt present in the water of the per parts per thousand. Then comes the concept, why if Earth has this much amount of water present on this area, then why there is scarcity of water for plants and animals? Yeah, there's a very good concept that yes, Earth has 71% of water, or its area occupied by the water, but only 1% of water is available for plants and animals. And there are few organisms which can survive only in oceans. There are few organisms which can survive only in fresh water, but there are few other organisms which can also survive in both, either in fresh water or either in the oceans. Now give the topic, that is organisms based on the salinity, organisms based on adaptation towards its salinity. Come on. Now comes the concept of salinity. I have told you what is salinity. I have told you what it is measured. It is measured in per thousand. समझ में आया? याद रखना, ठीक है? ये केमिस्ट्री में भी पढ़ते होगे ना आप लोग, पार्ट्स पर मिलियन, पार्ट्स पर थाउजेंड, पार्ट्स पर थाउजेंड. Salinity is measured. What is salinity? The amount of salt present in the water. It measured in the parts per thousand. Then comes, what is the amount of salinity present in fresh water? Fresh water mostly includes of 5 to 10, or either in some ranges it belongs to 0 to 5. ppt. The salinity, even you can take it as 5 to 10 only, no need to write 0 to 5, ये बहुत ज़्यादा कम हो जाता है, तो 5 to 10 you consider it as also. And or even it, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया, either it can range from 5 to 10 or even it can be 5 or either it can be in the range of 0 to 5. So most basically अगर हम इनका average मान के चलें तो average comes from 5 ppt. Clear? So range पूछा जाए तो range याद रखना, it can be either in the range of 0 to 5, 5 to 10. Got it? और अगर एवरेज पूछो तो कितना होता है 5. अब आई थिंक ये एनसीईआरटी में है आपके कि अगर कितना है तो फ्रेश वाटर का सैलिनिटी कितना है, तो बेसिकली 5 पीपीटी बोलते हैं या 5 इनलैंड फ्रेश वाटर इनलैंड्स बोलते हैं इसको. हाँ, 5 ppt. देन कम्स, अगर सैलिनिटी की बात करें इन द सी एंड ओशियंस, 30 to 35 ppt. ppt parts per 1000. समझ में आया क्यों पढ़ाया था? ये याद रखना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. लिटरली इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, देन कम्स salinity 1 2 salinity in hypersaline lagoons. Hypersaline lagoons कितना हो सकता है salinity in this hypersaline lagoons? It can be basically at the 100 ppt. Hypersaline lagoons में ज्यादा होते हैं salinity, amount of salt, that is 1000 ppt. And then comes the survival of the organism or the habitat of the organism. Habitat of the organism. Type of organism. You can write it not even habitat, you can write it as type of organisms which are present in salt water. They are basically of two types: urethylene and stenohaline. Urethylene and stenohaline. Urethylene are those organisms which are adapted towards wide range of salinity. You can write it as urethylene or urehaline. You can write it as anything. Urethylene is an organism. You can make it easy. Write urehaline. Stenohaline. Urehaline is an organism. I have to, इसके पहले ये यूरी और स्टीनो कहाँ सुना था? याद करो, बताओ जल्दी, come on, say fast. I'll tell you. Stenothermal, urethermal, just temperature वाले क्लास में पढ़ाया था आपको. On the basis of what? Basis of temperature, cold-blooded, warm-blooded organisms are called as. Remember? उसके बाद फिर हमने पढ़ा था कि स्टीनोथर्मल्स, यूरीथर्मल्स कौन से रेंज को, वाइड रेंज एंड एक्सेप्टेड, दो चीजें पढ़ाई थी, याद कर लो. एक तो पोइकिलोथर्म्स और होमियोथर्म्स पढ़ाए थे. वाइड रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर, दैट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड एज कोल्ड ब्लडेड ऑर्गेनिज्म, एंड वार्म ब्लडेड ऑर्गेनिज्म. दो चीजें आपको बताई थी. क्लियर? फिर उसके बाद मैंने आपको दो चीज बताई थी, स्टीनोथर्मल एंड यूरीथर्मल. याद आया? वैसे ही अगर ये वाइड रेंज ऑफ सॉल्ट को एडेप्टेशन दिखाता है, दैट इज यूरीहालाइन. नैरो रेंज और रिस्ट्रिक्टेड रेंज को अगर ये एडेप्टेशन दिखाता है, दैट इज व्हाट? स्टीनोहालाइन. यूरीहालाइन इज एन ऑर्गेनिज्म. Salinity, you can write it as adaptation. Is an organism of temperature. Narrow range of salinity, salinity और salt. समझ में आया? अच्छा ठीक है, अगर ये तो समझ में आ गया कि वाइड रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर, नैरो रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर और वाइड रेंज ऑफ सॉलिनिटी, नैरो रेंज ऑफ सॉलिनिटी, ये सारी चीजें तो क्लियर हो गई. स्टीनो, हालाइन और थर्मल लगाना है बस. ठीक है. बट अगर मैं आपको पूछूं कि इसका और क्या डिफरेंस हो सकता है इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स के बीच का, कि यूरी हालाइन और स्टीनो हालाइन, देख ले डिफरेंस. आओ देखते हैं, चलो. So I have said, let's see the difference between the urehaline and stenohaline. So what is the gradual difference between the euryhaline and stenohaline is the ability of an organism to adapt to a wide range of salinities. Those type of ability is called as what? Is called as euryhaline. It is the adaptation. It is a necessity. Now comes the ability of an aquatic organism to adapt to a narrow range of salinity is called as stenohaline. Then comes this organism, euryhaline, can survive in different types of water, which includes fresh water, salt water and brackish water. Fresh water, salt water and brackish water. Freshwater organisms are unable to survive in salt water and vice versa. I have told you this in my notes and I have told you this here also in the difference. Get it clear. This is your NCERT point also. And can live in regularly changing salinities. This organism, doesn't matter for them what range of salinity they are living on, the variety of change of salinity they observed in their day-to-day life, it's not a point of discussion for those organisms. And they can live in fresh water or salt water. Now you have said stenohaline, then why ma'am am I saying it fresh water? You know there are minimum amount of salt present in fresh brackish water. So when this organism get adapted towards a wide range, they are able to mostly I'll make it either mostly in fresh, mostly in salt, but hardly in fresh water. Hardly in fresh water. They can hardly survive in fresh water. अब चलो एक आग बहुत ज़्यादा थोड़े तंदुरुस्त हैं and they are able to adapt towards this, तो उनकी बात अलग कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? But they are mostly in salt water and they are called as osmoregulators. What they are called as? They are mostly osmoregulators and these are mostly mainly osmoconformers. अब तो उड़ता सवाल आना चाहिए, मैम what is this conformers? क्या है ये regulators? क्या होते हैं ये? वेट इसके बाद जब हम सैलिनिटी कंप्लीट करेंगे, सॉइल पढ़ेंगे बहुत अच्छे से, बहुत डीप में, बिकॉज सॉइल इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, उसका हॉरिजॉन, टाइप्स ऑफ मैनिफेस्टेशंस, टाइप्स ऑफ एवरीथिंग. जब सॉइल पढ़ लेंगे फिर लाइट पढ़ेंगे. लाइट पढ़ने के बाद जस्ट हम रिस्पॉन्ड करेंगे जब हम नया टॉपिक इसी के अंडर का स्टार्ट करेंगे कि ये जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स हैं ये अपने एनवायरनमेंट को कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं, हाउ डू दे रिस्पॉन्ड टुवर्ड्स देयर ऑर्गेनिज्म. उस टाइम हम पढ़ेंगे वाटर ऑस्मोरेगुलेटर्स एंड वाटर कन्फर्मर्स. व्हाई, व्हाट are their responses, different types of responses. So wait for this point. पहले भी कुछ चीजें बताई होगी ना कि रुको अगले क्लास में देखेंगे, इसका थोड़ा रुक के पढ़ेंगे. बिकॉज क्योंकि उसका टाइम उस वक्त आएगा, तो इसका टाइम अभी आया नहीं, जस्ट बिकॉज ये डेफिनेशन में हम डिफरेंस में पढ़ रहे हैं. तो याद कर लो कि स्टीनोहालाइन वो क्या होते हैं, ऑस्मोरेगुलेटर्स, एंड यूरीहालाइन जो होते हैं वो ऑस्मोकॉस्मोमस. बेसिकली I rarely say in one of my classes कि याद कर लो, रट लो. Never I say like that, but I say for a specific time, कुछ पल के लिए इसको याद कर लो. इसके बाद जब आगे क्लास, आगे की सेशंस आपको मिल जाएंगे, आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा कि ये रेगुलेटर्स और कन्फर्मर्स क्या होते हैं, क्योंकि इसके बाद वाला क्लास में हम जस्ट पढ़ने वाले हैं कि उनका रिस्पॉन्सेस कैसा होता है. मेक इट डन. ओके, दीज आर मोस्टली मराइन वाटर एंड ये जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं वो कैसे होते हैं, दे आर ईदर कैन बी मराइन और ईदर कैन बी फ्रेश वाटर ऑर्गेनिजम्स. बट रिमेंबर दिस वर्ड, हार्डली और मोस्टली सॉल्ट वाटर. समझ में आया ये? इसका वेरी वेरी गुड एग्जांपल है मॉलीफिश, और ये पूछा हुआ क्वेश्चन है कौन से ईयर में, कौन से बुक में, जाके प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर अपने शीट का, पैकेज का, एम्स के पन्ने उठाओ और आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा. ये मॉलीफिश द वेरी गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ यूरीहालाइन. Clear. And then comes goldfish and haddock is the another example of stenohaline. And green crabs are also the molly, the green and the salmon fishes. ये तो आपको पता ही होगा, salmon fishes day to day life में uses होते हैं इस fish के, salmon. And then comes eels and herring etc. are the organisms which are euryhaline. Eels होते हैं ना, वो flap like wings होते हैं जिनके. Seal और eels का थोड़ा थोड़ा similarly दिखते हैं, type of mammals होते हैं, वो eels की बात हो रही है, ठीक है? चलो. Now we have seen difference between euryhaline and stenohaline. Now we are going to see the adaptation of the water of different kinds of organisms. Give the heading now. Very next heading, that is adaptation of plants adaptation seen by the plants in water. The very first point you can write it as terrestrial. Terrestrial plant availability are based on the, this is what, based on the terrestrial plants availability are classified as or are set as based on the amount of water content present in the habitat. Terrestrial plants are of three types. कौन कौन से 3 टाइप्स के हैं वो? Which includes mesophytes and xerophytes. Hydrophytes, mesophytes and xerophytes. Hydrophytes are the plant. Hydrophytes mostly found in what? Mostly found in wet, marshy, swampy areas. Such type of plant are called as hydrophytes, and they have presence of hydrathodes. What are these hydrathodes? I'll tell you soon. Just have a look on it. Mesophytes are those plants which are present, which are mostly found in fields. And the productivity is more. Now comes xerophyte. I have told you 3 types of plants: hydrophytes, mesophytes, and then comes xerophytes. Xerophytes are the plants which are found in dry areas or dry region like desert. Now we'll see each and each example of each thing. I'll tell you what is hydrathodes. Just a minute. The very good example of hydrophytes are ant alpudo, and the another example of it is Rumex dentatus. Remember the example, don't forget. The very good example of mesophytes are maize. You can take it also as corn. Okay? And the example of xerophytes are acacia, tamarix, and casuarina. ये पूछा हुआ एग्जाम्पल है, प्लीज नेवर फॉरगेट. कैसरूना तो कभी मत भूलना. xerophytes का बहुत कॉमन और बहुत फेमस एग्जाम्पल है, मैं बता देती हूँ, ठीक है. So I have told you the examples of xerophytes, I have told you the example of mesophytes, I have told you what are hydrophytes, right? Hydrophytes का well and good example है alpudo, and इसका जो example है Rumex dentatus. Another example of अरे यार rice, field, wheat, ये सब mesophytes होते हैं जो land पे पाए जाते हैं ना, जब कम amount में ही मतलब growth हो जाते हैं, ज़्यादा water की जरूरत नहीं होती, सिर्फ water में ही पाए जाते हैं, वैसे plants को mesophytes बोलते हैं. Xerophytes आपके अपने टर्म में cactus and all वो सब जो बोलते हैं ना, वही सब है. Acacia, tamarix and casuarina. Very famous example है casuarina. Never forget. I'll tell you now what are hydrathodes. Hydrathodes are, got it? This is your leaf structure of leaf. This is your leaf lamina, whole structure, surface area. Then you have petule, pedicle and all. We are not going through it. Then you have venations, venules. These are venules. You can write it as venules, etc. You have here few amount of hydrothodes. This is what hydrothodes. Hydrothodes. These are the small pinpoint area. This are the, you can write it as hydrothodes as hydra. I have told you this is leaves, this is your lamina, and here comes hydrothodes. What is hydrothodes? Hydrothodes are the minute opening leaves on the leaves which exudes surplus water during guttation from the herbaceous plants. I have told you what? I have told you hydrophytes, herbs, they are small herbs plants, right, which require marshy areas for the growth. From the herbaceous. Hydrothodes are the minute opening present on the leaves which exudes surplus water during guttation from the herbaceous plant. What did I say? From the herbaceous plant. These are small pores. I have told you these are what? Hydrothodes, which are present on the surface or the lamina of the leaf, which prevents basically loss of water, which prevents the minute openings, exudes during the surplus, leads to exudes of the surplus water during the guttation period. Got it? This is what it is. I have told you the adaptation of the plants in water, and which I have told you about terrestrial plants availability. I have told you three types: hydrophytes, mesophytes, xerophytes. Hydrophytes are those plants live in water areas, marshy swamps areas. Mesophytes, those which lives in a land, example maize. Xerophytes, dry areas. Then I have told you what is hydrothodes. Now we are going to see the another way or the another adaptations of the terrestrial plant. Animal adaptability. Terrestrial plant availability, terrestrial animal adaptability. Another example, how do terrestrial plants adapt to the water? That is, the very good example of it is the plants which live in desert areas, or basically, before I go to that point, I'll tell you, plants obtain their source of water, through food and water bodies. But what are these water bodies? This includes ponds, rivers, lakes. Got it? Ponds, rivers and lakes. So, but in arid areas or in dry areas, in desert areas, the water bodies are lacking. In areas, the water bodies are lacking. So, these organisms depend on this organism depends on the food for their water and mineral and nutrition purpose of water from their body. Examples like kangaroo rat or kangaroo rat mostly eats seeds. The desert organisms or the organisms living in arid areas excrete solid phases and concentrated urine. Concentrated. Plants obtain their source of water through food and water bodies like ponds, rivers and lakes. Okay, but in arid areas, arid yani ki dry areas, the water bodies are lacking, so the organisms depends on the food for their water, mineral and nutrition purpose. So for example of this is the organism is kangaroo rat. Kangaroo rat mostly eat seeds, so that the excessive amount of water loss is prevented from their bodies and they can survive in desert. I have told you what, it is very difficult to survive in desert, but few organisms do it by what? By adaptation. So this is also a type of adaptation. What adaptation? Terrestrial adaptation. Adaptation of plants in water on the land, that is terrestrial. Got it? An organism living in an arid areas, that is dry areas, excrete solid feces and concentrated urine. This is the another way of theirs to prevent the loss of water from their body. Now comes how are aquatic plants show adaptation. Here we have seen terrestrial plant adaptation. Now we are going to see aquatic plant adaptation. After this, just give the heading aquatic plant adaptation. Terrestrial plant availability, or we have seen terrestrial plant adaptations. Now we are going to see aquatic plant availability or aquatic plant adaptation. Got it? Yes. Adaptations of plants in water in aquatic organisms or aquatic plant. So I was talking about aquatic plants. Aquatic plants are those plants which mostly live in water, and they are mostly also referred as hydrophytes, and have abundant water content in the surrounding. What did I said? I said aquatic plants are those organisms which live in water, and they also referred to as hydrophytes and have abundant water content in the surrounding. Clear? Okay. Then this organism possess parenchyma or air sacs, which gives buoyancy to this living organism, to this plants in water. This is also one adaptation. What they consist? They consist of parenchyma or air sacs which gives the buoyancy to the plants in water, and they also have storing parenchyma, and they also have storing parenchyma. And the another example of, or another point of it is the water which are living in fresh water have problem of the organism, the organism, make it the point clear, kids. It's organism which are living in fresh water have problem with excess internal water due to endosmosis. This is another major problem of the organism which are living in fresh water. And one more very good example is, or the point is, the organism which are living in salty water or salt water have problem with problem of limited external water, limited external, or you can say not external water, they have problem with limited or less amount of water content in their body. So it becomes, they don't have problem with surrounding water, they have problem with a limited water content, or the limited problem, have problem of limited internal water due to exosmosis. Due to exosmosis. What is osmosis? Transfer of water from always high concentration to low concentration. When this osmosis occurs inside the cell, within the cell, inside the layering of the cell, that is called as endoosmosis. And from when it occurs from the cell to the surrounding, that is called as exosmosis. When concentration is more of the salt outside, the water will transfer from the cell outside the cell into the surrounding. And similarly, when concentration is more outside and it is less inside, the water mostly transferred over here. This phenomena is called as osmosis, endoosmosis and exosmosis. Why in saline water the concentration of the salt is more outside and it is less inside? So water mostly goes outside, because water always transfers from where? From high concentration to low concentration. And remember one thing, in osmosis we always talk transfer of water. Got it? Yes, we are talking about the concentration of water. So this is what, similarly, organisms which are living in fresh water have problem with excess internal water and due to endoosmosis, and the organisms which are living in salt water have problem with less internal water due to endoosmosis. I'll come to this point. I'll come soon. Now the next point says that in deep sea, deep oceans or sea are mostly consumers. Why are mostly consumers? Then the question comes, why? Because they have, कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया ना, इसी के बाद जस्ट लाइट स्टार्ट करने वाले, वाटर खत्म कर लिया, लाइट, तो यहीं से राम कहानी लाइट की शुरू होगी. समझ में आया? दे हैव, बिकॉज दे हैव नो लाइट पेनिट्रेशन एट द डेप्थ. ये सारे बायोटिक कंपोनेंट्स है, इसको याद रखना वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसके बाद छोटा सा दो और कॉन्सेप्ट है, सोच रहे ह्यूमिडिटी एंड प्रेसिपिटेशन, आज इसको कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं, फिर अगले क्लास में हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे लाइट. आ गया ना लाइट का कॉन्सेप्ट? आगे बढ़ने से पहले मैं आपको ये सारी चीजें जो लिखी हुई है ना, इसको समझा देती हूँ. सुनिए, पॉइंट क्या कहता है कि एक्वाटिक प्लांट्स कैसे होते हैं, वो live in water होते हैं. Second, it is also referred to as hydrophytes. They are also called as hydrophytes and have abundant water content in the surrounding. क्योंकि वो पानी में रहते हैं तो उनके आसपास बहुत ज्यादा पानी पाया जाता है. क्लियर है ये पॉइंट? The organism possess parenchyma. ठीक है, ये टाइप ऑफ स्पेशलाइज्ड टिश्यूज है, और ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज एयर सैक्स, which gives buoyancy, which give ability of a plants to constantly living in water or float in water, and they also have storing parenchyma which when required provide excessive thermal stability and energy stability. क्लियर हुआ ये दोनों पॉइंट? छोटे छोटे पॉइंट है, इजी पॉइंट है, कोई डाउट? पहला दूसरा पॉइंट क्या कहता है? उनके पास एरेनकाइमा है और स्टोरिंग पेरेनकाइमा है. एरेनकाइमा which gives air sacs, which give buoyancy for them to live in the water, and then comes the organism which are living in fresh water have problem with excess internal water due to surroundings. See, I'll tell you how. If this is an organism, and this is fresh water, water का concentration किधर ज्यादा है? एंडोऑस्मोसिस. I'm teaching you. I'm telling you, अगर ये हमारा कोई ऑर्गेनिज्म है, ये हमारा ऑर्गेनिज्म है, ये हमारे ऑर्गेनिज्म्स है. सो कैन यू सी, वाटर का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, वाटर का जो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन है, वो बाहर ज्यादा है, वो बाहर ज्यादा है. कैन यू सी? more water here, more water here, more water here. Can you see? These are what? Organisms. तो जब वाटर ऑस्मोसिस क्या कहता है? वाटर ट्रांसफर फ्रॉम हाई कॉन्सेंट्रेशन टू लो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन. व्हेन वाटर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इज मोर आउटसाइड, water will mostly travel inside the cell, and this process is called as what? Endoosmosis. This is called as what? Endoosmosis. और इसी के लिए this organism have problem with excess amount of internal water. This is the point which I said. अब समझ में आया एग्जाम्पल के साथ. दूसरी चीज सिमिलरली एक्सोऑस्मोसिस. अब इसी की जगह इसको सॉल्ट वाटर कर दो तो एक्सोऑस्मोसिस हो जाएगा. क्यों? क्योंकि बाहर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ज्यादा है किसका, सॉल्ट का, लेकिन पानी का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन अंदर ज्यादा है, तो वाटर मोस्टली ट्रेवल्स ओवर देयर. सी नाउ एक्सोऑस्मोसिस. क्या है ये एक्सोऑस्मोसिस? सपोज दिस इज एन ऑर्गेनिज्म, दिस इज एन ऑर्गेनिज्म सर्वाइविंग ओवर देयर. ये हमारा सॉल्ट वाटर है, सॉल्ट वाटर. सॉल्ट कंटेंट बाहर ज्यादा है, सॉल्ट कंटेंट मोर आउटसाइड. ये आउटसाइड है हमारा, ठीक है, मोर आउटसाइड. वाटर का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन अंदर कम होगा, होगा. वाटर का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन अंदर ज्यादा होगा. याद देखो, सॉल्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इधर ज्यादा है, ठीक है. यहाँ पे वाटर का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ज्यादा है. वाटर मोस्टली ट्रांसफर कहाँ करेगा, बाहर की ओर जाएगा वाटर. ये क्या हो गया, एक्सोऑस्मोसिस. क्योंकि हमेशा ऑक्सीजन में क्या ट्रांसफर करता है, वाटर ट्रांसफर करता है ना. तो ये हो गया क्या, एक्सोऑस्मोसिस. इसी के लिए इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स में भी दिक्कत होती है कि इनमें लो वाटर, इंटरनल लो वाटर कंटेंट का इनको दिक्कत हो जाती है. समझ में आया, ये एक्सोऑस्मोसिस का कंडीशन है. और ऐसे ही ऑर्गेनिजम्स फाउंड इन डीप वाटर 200 मीटर. डीप कितना, deep into 100 meters are mostly consumer because they have no light penetration in that area. That is why they are found only consumers, no producers are found. जो स्टार्टिंग के जो दो लेयर मैंने आपको पढ़ाए थे ना, याद आ रहा है, स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन ऑफ लेक में. लाइट में वापस दोहराएंगे वो चीज. लिटोरल, लिम्नेटिक, प्रोफंडल और बेंथिक मैंने एक बार लास्ट में बताया था, याद है, ओशंस के केस में. याद आया, कुछ तो रिकॉल करो, समझे, वो वाली बात है. तो लिटोरल और लिम्नेटिक में मोस्टली क्या फाउंड होता है पता है क्या, मोस्टली देयर इज फाउंड ऑफ प्रोड्यूसर्स. गॉट इट. जब हम लिटोरल, लिम्नेटिक एंड प्रोफंडल में आ जाते तो मैंने आपको बताया था वहां सिर्फ और सिर्फ कंज्यूमर्स होते हैं. बेंथिक में तो चांस ही नहीं होता, ठीक है. दिस इज व्हाट. नाउ पुट द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक. वी आर गोइंग टू सी टू मोर टॉपिक्स टुडे, दैट इज ह्यूमिडिटी एंड प्रेसिपिटेशन. और फिर हम अगले क्लास में पढ़ेंगे लाइट. और लाइट एंड सॉइल हम लोग बहुत डीप में और बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे क्योंकि अच्छे क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं इनसे, ठीक है. कम ऑन, पुट द वेरी नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, दैट इज ह्यूमिडिटी. So we were seeing that adaptation of plants in water. It says that water currents, that is flow, restrict distribution of organism in streams. What are streams? From flow of river occurring in a particular one direction, leading to the formation of streams. Got it? Flow of water current in one direction forms a one stream. So in a stream, they have, or in a intertidal areas or those areas between two tides. Areas formed, or the areas present, you can write it as areas present between two tides or two low tide, high tide. ये तो इतना तो concept clear ही होगा ना, what is the high tides. So these are the areas present between two tides is called as what, intertidal areas, ठीक है. And when these tides flow in extremely one direction, extremely in a following direction, this togetherly, this area is referred to as stream. Okay? When excessive flow of water or more amount of water or the waves flow in one direction form a stream. In streams only attached plants grow. Kyun? Why only attached plant grow? Why? Because if this is this plant has very good encouragement. Imagine. ठीक है, चलो. अगर इनका encouragement और attached plant अच्छा नहीं है, excessive flow, excessive fast flowing waves are there the chances of destroying this plant? या chances है ना कि इस plant को destroy कर दिया जाए excessive flow से, excessive stream से, हो सकता है ना. इसी जब अगर उनका encouragement means इनका attachment to the root अच्छे से है, तो क्या ये stream destroy कर सकते हैं इन plants को? Never. That is why, this is the reason why this well encouraged plants always grow in the stream or between the intertidal areas. There is a flow of excessive waves. क्या ये plant destroy कर सकते हैं? तो ये उनका एक adaptation rate हो गया कि in excessive stream or in a stream rivers mostly encouraged plant grows. समझ में आया ये point? दूसरा point क्या कहता है? They have a dissected or ribbon shaped leaves. They have dissected or ribbon. I'll show you the leaves of those plants. See. Suppose this is the plant. they have ribbon shaped leaves. Ribbon shaped leaves. याद आ रहा है, आपने मोस्टली देखा भी होगा ये प्लांट्स को, समझे? इजी है ना? है ही इजी, ठीक है। ये रिबन शेप्ड इनके लीव्स क्यों होते हैं? क्योंकि दिस ऑल मोस्टली बाइसेक्ट दिस स्ट्रीम, बाइसेक्ट द टाइड्स एंड सर्वाइव। ये जब स्ट्रीम इनसे पास करती है, ये बाइसेक्ट होके फिर से वैसे आ जाते हैं। दिस इज द रिबन शेप लीफ। व्हेन स्ट्रीम बाइसेक्ट, दे lie again, come back, lie again, come back. This is what one kind of adaptation to prevent themselves, to prevent their loss of life. This is what it is, one adaptation of aquatic plant. They have dissected or ribbon shaped leaf. These are those plants which are present in streams. समझे बच्चों? And animals found here are either strong or swimmers, have attaching organs or live under burrows, crevices, etc. I'll tell you what are these points. This is यहाँ जो organisms पाए होते हैं, either this organism, suppose this is an organism, this is an organism, okay? This is an organism. These organisms either are fast swimmers, so that they can swim in the stream and cross it easily, go with the stream, go with the tide and cross it off, and they can save their life. Either they have very strong, they can stand here, organisms, and let the stream pass off through them. समझ में आया? They are very strong and allow them so that the stream can pass easily through them. Clear? Got the concept? Another is have attaching organs. Either they can attach to some, suppose this is the rock present here, they have attaching organs, and organ can attach to these rocks. These rocks, they have easily attached to some rocks, some plants. So this type of organisms can also be present there. Either they can attach to some rocks, either they can attach to some plants, or so that they can prevent themselves loss of their life in the excessive flow of the stream, or through the tides, or through the waves. Okay? Each organs live or understood, or they live in the burrows or crevices, or they live in deep in the soil. They burrow the soil. Suppose this is the soil. They burrow it and they live here, so that whenever the stream passes also, it doesn't matter for them. Those type of organisms which are present in streams or intertidal areas. समझ में आया ये concept? कितना beautiful concept है ना? कितना beautiful concept है ये adaptation का plants and organism का? क्या क्या देखा? Hydrophytes देखा, उसके बाद देखा कि उनमें एरेनकाइमा प्रेजेंट होता है प्लांट्स में, फिर उसमें पैरेनकाइमा, स्टोरिंग पैरेनकाइमा प्रेजेंट होता है, विच एवर रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द एनर्जी, वेन एवर रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द एनर्जी पर्पसेस. देन कम्स दी एंडोऑस्मोसिस और एक्सोऑस्मोसिस वाला कॉन्सेप्ट. इंटरनल एंड इंटरनल वाटर की वजह से एंडोऑस्मोसिस में बढ़ जाता है, एक्सोऑस्मोसिस में कम हो जाता है. सॉल्ट वाटर में, फ्रेश वाटर में एंडोऑस्मोसिस की वजह से बढ़ जाता है. देन वी हैव सीन द अनदर कॉन्सेप्ट विच वाज द कॉन्सेप्ट of deep consumers, or only consumers are found in the deep sea areas or deep oceanic zones. And then we have moved to this relevant point. This relevant points were the water currents distributes the limitation of the growth of the water. How do they limitate the growth? How do they limit the growth of the water? Here इनमें वही plants पाए जाते हैं जो have very good encouragement. उनका encouragement power बहुत अच्छा होता है. Either they are very strong so that they can adapt it, or they have ribbon shaped leaves. उनके लीव्स कैसे होते हैं? रिबन शेप, ताकि अगर वेव्स और टाइड्स अगर इनसे पास भी कर रहे हैं तो इनको कुछ अफेक्ट ना हो. दिस इज वन टाइप ऑफ एडेप्टेशन. फिर ऑर्गेनिजम्स के बारे में देखा, इधर या तो बहुत स्ट्रांग होते हैं या बहुत फास्ट स्विमर्स होते हैं कि टाइड्स के साथ ये लोग फ्लो होकर के निकल लें. देन कम्स व्हाट? ऐसे ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं, दे हैव अटैचिंग एबिलिटी, दे आर अटैच्ड टू सम काइंड ऑफ रॉक्स, और दे आर आल्सो अटैच्ड, और दे आर द ऑर्गेनिजम्स व्हिच लिव्स इन burrows. They burrow the soil and leaves in the burrows and crevices so that the streams passes above them. There's no effect on those organisms. Now give the next heading, that is called as humidity. Okay? Are you clear with this point? Good. Now we are going to see about humidity. What is humidity? Humidity refers to as the moisture or water vapor content of the air. How much amount of water droplets are present in the air, that is called as what? Humidity. How humid the climate is, how cool, how chill the climate is, we always call as what? Humidity. It determines the formation of clouds, dew और fog formation. क्लियर? यही तो पढ़ा था अभी. तो रिसेंटली दिल्ली का केस यही हुआ था ना, फॉग प्लस स्मोक इज इक्वल्स टू व्हाट? स्मॉग. तो अभी तो दिल्ली के गवर्नमेंट में हैज बैंड the bursting of the crackers. Fog was one of the major reason. Why? Because as Delhi lies mostly in the northern Indian plains or the North Indian plains, वहाँ का जो climatic zone है वो थोड़ा during this during the season of the cold it appears to be as fog, and due to excessive pollution and due to excessive smoke present in the environment, that leads to formation of what? Smog. That was the reason recent time covering that the government has stopped bursting or the stoppage the usage of the crackers for the children and for the youth. This was one of the major reason why Delhi suffers due to pollution effect, smog formation, and it determines the formation of cloud, dews and fog. Why? How clouds are formed? ये जब हम लोग environmental issue देखेंगे ना, how clouds are formed, फिर वो alluvial soil वगैरह portion जो उसमें cover होगा ना, उसमें हम लोग देखेंगे कि how La Nina, El Nino clouds के बारे में जो पढ़ते हैं ना, वो सब उसी में देखेंगे. ठीक है? Environmental issue जो आपका 4th chapter है. तो पर basically अगर आपको पूछे तो major reason for cloud formation is what? Humidity. सट्टाक से आंसर आना चाहिए, फटाक से. What it? Humidity is major cause of what? Formation of cloud. What is humidity? The amount of water, the amount of vapor which is present in the air, in the atmosphere, that is called as what? Humidity. It affects the land organism by regulating the less or the vapor formed bodies through the evaporation, transpiration and perspiration. How does this? Why we are studying about humidity? Because we have learned about organisms of the plant, organisms and adaptations of the plant in water. So water also is present in the air which affects the organism which are growing on the land. Example, cotton. Cotton is mostly grows in the low humid area, otherwise it can flow easily. That is why it is said that cotton is mostly found in the humid areas. Humid means presence of water in the air. That is why how it affects. इसका सबसे अच्छा example ले लो, cotton. Growth of cotton varies according to the humid temperature or the humid zone. ठीक है? समझ में आया humid क्यों पढ़ा? And formation of cloud, La Nino, El Nino types of cloud, वो सब 4th chapter में पढ़ेंगे environmental issues में. यहाँ तक हमने देख लिया how do plant and organisms are actually affected by the water. Clear? कोई भी concept में कोई भी doubt हो, then and there only you ask me or you ask anyway, you Google it, you do anything, you go, but I'll tell you what you know. There's no way of Googling something. Because Google का कोई अंत नहीं है, there's no end for Google. You should always refer few books and then find out. Why? कभी भी जब भी आप book पढ़ते हो ना, when you study books, you get to know about few more things. एक चीज ढूंढने गए सीधे सीधे 4 चीजें पता चल जाती है. But आजकल you believe in just googling it. Google it gives you current answer. It gives you current knowledge. But precise knowledge is always given by books. Always go through reference books. Always read from reference books. And always read very well. Read from your sheet. Everything is given here. Everything is given in a precise way. Everything is given what is necessary for you to read. How much to eat, and what to omit is given everything. Subjective ले लो, objective ले लो, सब कुछ दिया है. Packages में, modules में, questions में, previous year का सब कुछ है. You go through it, nothing is missing. That's all. That much is enough to you to be a doctor. Got it? Let's end the today's session over here and we'll begin with our next session in our next class. Thank you very much for watching this video and good luck.